Question everything, for the truth should not be televised. And that's for sure. So with that, I've been trying to understand, the reality of this right here. Let me just share it with you. If your father and grandfather was invaded, and their home was invaded, and your father and grandfather went out to go stop that invasion and fight that invasion, and that invading military that came in and infringed on your father and grandfather, and your grandfather and father got deleted off the planet fighting against that invasion, and you as their child, as their son, as their grandson growing up, are under that invasion occupancy, where they occupying your land and took over your resources and dishonored everything it is about you. Let me ask you, when you get older, do you join that invading military force that knocked off your grandfather and father and then go invade other nations for resources? Or do you always stay at odds with that invading force that knocked off your grandfather and father and invaded your land and in turn enslaved your people on their own land? Do you join forces with them, or do you stay at odds with them? I just need to know. Because at the end of the day, we sit around here today and folks go to the military and they act like we supposed to be in honor of them being in part of this military that we call United States military. Like that's an honorable thing. And I'm like, how is it an honorable thing to be a part of a military that slaughtered your own people, that had no mercy on the invasion of your house when they destroyed your father and grandfather? How is it honorable that you grow up and then join forces with them to go do that to other nations for their resources? Wouldn't it be the opposite of honor? Because I don't understand how our people sit around and act like they're so honorable and so just by joining forces with a system that destroyed your force. I never understood that. Not to mention, the reason why I'm speaking on this is because this government is talking about doing a draft. A bunch of white, rich folks who don't like my people, who won't give us justice in the form of reparations owed to our people for the crimes against humanity that their forefathers gave them generational wealth off of, want to draft your children into a military to fight for their behalf. Not your behalf, but their behalf. The same people that don't like you want you to fight for them, and willing to say they're going to do a draft for you to go fight for them, but won't give you justice for the crimes against humanity that they done to you. How do that work? How do that make any fucking sense? Excuse my French. Or is that French? But this is where we stand. We stand with this type of mental madness. Excuse me, but yet this is where we at. Under this psychological trauma that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. Thinking that we made it to some sort of freedom and that we all inclusive, even though the majority of us are struggling at the bottom. So now they want to do drafts. They want to draft your child to go fight for wealthy and rich, handed down money from our forefathers that we ain't never seen a day in our lives, to these wealthy and rich white colonizers. They want us to go fight for them while they sit back at home in mansions of stolen wealth, yachts of stolen wealth, lands of stolen land and resources. They want you to send your babies out and fight and get deleted off the planet for them, knowing that they'll never give you true justice under their criminal empire of what they call United States. But you okay with that. It's somewhere in your mind you have some sort of honor that you're feeling from joining these type of militaries that always been against your people. Set up and formed to attack and has attacked your people. We sit as the survivors and the descendants of one of the greatest holocausts that ever happened, with no justice ever given to that Holocaust. Survivors of massacres and genocides under a government who allegedly took part in it. But no justice ever brought to it. But being a part of the military is honorable. I'm a Marine. I'm a Navy SEALs. I'm an Army captain. I'm a traitor to my own nation. That's what it sounds like to me, allegedly. Why? Because it don't benefit our people from you doing any of that. Hasn't benefited our people from you doing any of that. It has benefited the colonizers in their empire of control when it comes to going around the world and controlling other people's lands and resources. It benefited them, the greatest criminal empire we have ever seen. But it hasn't benefited your people. It hasn't benefited your communities. So what do I say about drafts? I say, man, shit, if you're gonna draft me, I'm gonna do what Ali did. If you're gonna try to draft somebody in my family, I advise them to do what Ali did. If you try to draft somebody in my tribe, in my nation, I advise you to do what Ali did. Because that's an honorable brother who was for his people. Always was for his people. Even tell you he fought for his people. Always. But that's the reality to it. So with that, I stand for my people, not for some system that can give me little tokens to betray my people. The hell with that. I'd rather be broke than betray my own. I'd rather stay in these ghetto slums and hoods than get a perk up against my people where I can't help my people. And I'd be damned if I join a military to help fight for people who will never ever fight for me. I'd be damned to send any one of my children to some type of war that don't benefit me or my people from nowhere, but benefit the people that brought war to me and put my people in shackles. I'd be damned if I take part of that. And with that, I just don't get y'all that do. I just don't understand those that take part in that. That's just not who I am. And for that, that is the question. You let me know. Peace, peace.